Let's dream a little.
Welcome to Colonize the Ocean podcast, where we discuss oceanic colonization, exploration, and education with your hosts Adam Jewell and Brendan Traxler.
So, I kind of deviated it last week, but we've been just talking about underwater data centers. And with us being a focus on manned underwater habitats, and even though a data center does not have to be manned, let's look for several years out and really picture on what a future could look like 10, 20 years down the road, where we have streamlined the process of building underwater habitats, not just for data centers, but to live in as well. And what does that look like? And this one's a little bit more fanciful or as far out there, whereas some of the other stuff we've been talking about is solid science that has either been already implemented in one fashion or another or is in the works. And this one is just a little bit more of a fun thought experiment or just something to have fun with. But what are we looking at that point in time, down the road is, do we have full offices underwater, or is there just like a small room for your IT support that come down and work on them to switch out servers or troubleshoot anything on site when it can't be done remotely? What does that look like? Does it get to the point where you've got a sprawling office, you've got restaurants and everything? At that point in time, it becomes its own little village. I think of some big operations. Take, for example, State Farm. Their main headquarters there in Normal, Illinois. They've got a huge food court in there. They've got all this type of stuff in there where you never have to leave the building throughout your workday. And when do we get to that point in underwater, when that you've got maybe even have an area to sleep, like a little resting berth area, and you got food and you've got all your amenities that you don't have to necessarily leave, but it's not a home either. And so when you're at that point in time, how does life change? How does work change when the life above the water and the life under the water are synonymous, and that they're at a break-even point where, hey, this week you're going to be on the, Atlantic Ocean data center side, and this week you're going to be in the Houston data center co-location type of area. And then when we start thinking about further out, that is like, what does that look like as far as other businesses or just life in general? At that point in time, the technology has advanced as much as where you could have a full underwater city, which I think is a lot of our goals, is to finally get to that point in time. The question is how soon do we get there? And is it within, the people who are listening to this right now, most of our lifetimes, is it going to happen? Is it within the next 50 years? I think that we definitely could have that quickly. Honestly, it's all about, again, with all this type of stuff, it's all about funding. If we can get the funding out there, and then of course the media starts catching on, and right now with the advent of data centers, Elon Musk just announced that they're getting ready to build a huge data center in Tennessee, right on the Mississippi. I think it's actually Memphis area. So you got billions and billions of dollars going into that. If you can allocate a portion of that into underwater habitats, underwater data centers, it's going to further that along so much quicker. I don't know. I just thought it'd be fun to think a little bit, to dream a little bit, and to have fun with this episode. So, what do you think?